Good morning. It's 2:51 a.m. It's August 5th, 2020, and I'm on my way to go meet up with some guys from my running group. I was thinking this morning. First of all, I want to tell you why I wake up at 1:30 in the morning and how that time has progressed over. I don't think I'll get up any earlier than that because, quite frankly, it's not that I can't. It's that it's probably not smart. But it started at 4 o'clock, 3:30, 3:25, 3 o'clock, 2:45, 2:30. And over time, I was slowly trying to figure out what's a perfect window. And I kept pushing it back. And sometimes I'd get back to a point where I'd start pushing it back 5 minutes to see where my perfect rhythm was. And that all started from creating levels of discipline inside myself. And the reason why I was working to create discipline is because I was a very undisciplined individual in a lot of areas. And it's not enough to be disciplined to make income. It's not enough to get up and go to the job and know how to make money. It's not enough to be able to run your business efficiently, because that's such a small aspect of your life that you're trying to handle, that everything else could very well, spin out of whack. Like, for instance, in 2007 and 8, I was 9, 10. I was making a lot of money, but I also got a DUI. I also went to jail overnight for that DUI. I went to jail for a couple hours for some domestic violence. I ended up punching this guy. There was times I would be driving home and I wouldn't even remember where I lived because I was so drunk. I was blowing a bunch of money inside of strip clubs, going back and forth to Vegas, buying up the bar, living in a rental car. Not living, but I mean, I didn't own my own car, so I just kept a rental car. Cadillacs, trucks, whatever it is that I can get my hands on. All the rental car companies knew me because I'm the guy that would come in there and, pay $800 a week for a vehicle. And then I look back at the pictures and I was out of shape. So there were so many other things that was affecting me, that I just went all in and said, I need to create a higher level of self-discipline. And one of the things is just waking up at 1:30 in the morning. The other thing, amongst other things, taking a cold shower. I've been doing that for probably maybe the last year or two. So my first shower of the day will be a cold shower. And this time of year, a cold shower is not bad because the water ends up being somewhat warm, even you know how you can turn your water to hot or cold. Even when you turn it to its coldest, it's still semi-warm. You won't get that same love in the winter time. You'll lose your breath. It's that cold. So 1:30 in the morning, then cold showers. That's just some of what I do to discipline myself, not punish myself, not so much medieval, because I think there's some other things you can do, like when I go running in 114 degree weather. I think that's kind of damn out there. Or getting up at like this time in the morning and going for a 14-mile, 15-mile run in downtown Phoenix, jumping over homeless people. That might be a little bit out there. Or times when there's been so much fog in front of me that I couldn't, literally my visibility was at 0 and I still went out and ran anyways. Just to give you a couple examples of reasons why and things that I would do to discipline myself into a position to be able to handle things besides making money. Because you can make all the money you want and your life could be completely completely falling apart around you. So the thing that really kind of got me up and going and thinking this morning was abundance, living in abundance, and how I believe so many of us have limits to the amount of money we can make, the amount of happiness we can intake, the amount of just pure growth that we can accept. And I think we have a limit because it's all that we believe we either deserve, or it's all that we believe that we have coming to us. And either way, something ends up happening that stops that flow. Like, I'll tell you, me for instance, I don't gamble, and I don't typically have mental breakdowns when an influx of money comes into my home. I've dealt with money enough where I've kind of got an understanding about how that works. And where some people might get a influx of money into their home, right? And if this is you, then you'll relate to it, and it could start an argument, simply because you have too much money and now you have nothing else to complain about. Money is right, so let's just go at it with each other. Or you get an influx of money and you decide going to a casino is starting to look like a good idea, and you end up losing it. You know, just to give you some examples. Well, I don't do any of those things. Or another good one is you got an influx of money and you decided that you were going to go out and you were going to go drink because you're celebrating, and then you end up getting into a fight, or worse yet, you end up getting a DUI or something like that, right? Well, for me, my level of return and how much I can intake comes with, if I've had a really good month, I might take 2 months off, right? Instead of really kind of putting on the gas and really getting on it, I might say, you know what, I had a good month. This will carry me because my bills are this much. And by the way, you should know how much your bills are each month. So since my bills are this much and I made this much, I don't need to do anything else, or at least I'm not telling myself that, but my actions are showing that. And then instead of putting yourself in a position to hammer down on that even more, guess what you do? You end up saying, I don't need to work, and then money starts getting low and you find yourself having to go right back after it and chase it with just as much vigor as you did before, versus being able to maintain that same consistency and just keep pressing forward. And what ends up happening is you've hit your level. And I have to have this conversation with myself on a regular basis and say, yeah, you have enough to take care of your necessary expenses. And yeah, you have some money left over to enjoy it. And you have a little bit of money left over to invest it. But where could you put your family at if you just really went all in and just said, I'm just going to put the gas down and not let up? There's people that do it for years. But it's the mechanism where you say, either you say, I'm not worthy of it, or you say that this isn't possible. And that's where you have to check yourself and realize, am I self-destructing? Am I creating a self-destructing mentality that is doing me a disservice? And that's why, for me, discipline is such a big thing, because it allows me to have real conversations with myself in any area. It doesn't have to be money. It could be in relationships. You could have seen your mother and father going through things, or your father going through relationship problems, or your mother going through relationship problems, and they divorced, and and now for you in your life, there's only a certain level of happiness that you're willing or think that you're capable of accepting before you self-destruct and things just go left. If you can change the story that you're telling yourself about how far or how much you can have, I mean, really have a conversation with yourself and say, why do I only get this far in a relationship? I guarantee the thing that happens is probably the same thing that happens every single time. Like for my father, I remember him making so much money at his job, and one of his things was, as soon as he would get his paycheck, he would go spend the whole day at the bar. I mean the entire day. You know, and the thing about my dad, where I give him a hell of a lot of credit, and he deserves it, is I know he really tried. I just don't think he really knew what to do. And sometimes he just needed to escape. I'll leave it at this. Sometimes it's better to feel the pain without having or taking any type of medicine than it is to be completely out of it and the pain no longer be there. You have to ask yourself, why is it that you are hitting certain limits in your life, in your goals, with the things that you want? And then you have to break through them, or you're going to be repeating a vicious cycle. And if you have kids, they repeat it with you.